It's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randirhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fall. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
Republicans don't think there should be a trial. They believe that the president should not have been tried while he was still in office, and now that he's not in office, he can't be tried. And so if you mount a violent attack on the U.S. government, including your supporters seemingly being bent on trying to kill the vice president and members of House and the Senate, depending on the timing, it might be okay. They really are cool with this being what their party does right now. It is almost impossible to believe, but that is where they are. And that really is where they are. Tonight, CNN reporting that one of the new Republican members of the House, a Congresswoman named Marjorie Taylor Greene, as recently as 2019, was publicly advocating for the execution of prominent Democrats in this country, including Nancy Pelosi, who she suggested should get a bullet in the head. No sign whatsoever that will have any impact on Ms. Greene's standing in the Republican Party or in Congress, because that's not weird for the Republican Party anymore.
In fact, Marjorie Taylor Greene will now join the Education Committee. Swear to God. She just got a seat on the Education Committee. And she is a QAnon lady through and through. Her Facebook stuff, some of it's been taken down, but some of it's already been captured. Too bad for you, Marjorie, that we record all this stuff. She has been saying that the Parkland shooting that killed 17 young people, the Parkland shooting was a false flag. She's saying that the Capitol attack, and so is the Oregon GOP. And so is the Arizona GOP. And so is the Hawaii, believe it or not, GOP. And so is the Texas GOP, saying that the attack on the Capitol was a false flag, a la conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. Everything's a false flag. Whenever they do something that results in death, or they see something that results in death and it interferes with their preferred messaging, it's not real. It's fake. It's a false flag. People did not die at Parkland. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas was not attacked. That did not happen. Okay. Also, Nancy Pelosi, who was not supportive of building a wall and appropriating billions of dollars to do so after Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it. She is a traitor to her country. Marjorie Taylor Greene repeatedly said that Nancy Pelosi needs to be killed because she committed treason and allowed for the invasion of the United States. Okay? This is how she came to the topic of Nancy Pelosi needs to be killed. Okay? These are some of the sickest people, and Mitch McConnell is saying, you know what? A lot of their followers, a lot of the people who follow this conspiracy theory, they're still useful to us. They're still useful. They can divide America, and America could go about, fighting each other while we block every little bit of progress that the Democrats hope to bring. We'll just block everything, including our DHS secretary, okay? They're going to block him. They're going to filibuster him. And at the same time, the Department of Homeland Security should remain leaderless, according to the Republicans. The Department of Homeland Security today they used the federal system designed to warn all Americans about terrorist threats to the United States homeland by issuing a terrorist attack on the federal system that is used to warn all Americans of impending terrorism. They said that the anger fueled by false narratives, especially unfounded claims about the 2020 presidential election, could lead some inside the country to launch attacks in the coming weeks. Here is what the warning actually says verbatim, okay? Information suggests that some ideologically motivated violent extremists with objections to the exercise of governmental authority and the presidential transition, as well as other perceived grievances fueled by false narratives, could continue to mobilize or incite or commit violence. This was put out on NTAS, which is the DHS. It's the National Terrorist Advisory System. They say domestic terrorists are, quote, motivated by a range of issues, including anger over COVID-19 restrictions, the 2020 election results, and police use of force, have plotted and on occasion carried out attacks against government facilities. Long-standing tension, including opposition to immigration, has driven domestic terrorist attacks. So we are under a threat warning of more extremist violence in this country. They conclude the terrorist warning that was disseminated today by saying DHS is concerned the same drivers to violence will remain through early 2021, and domestic terrorists may be emboldened by the January 6, 2021 breach of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., to target elected officials and government facilities. And that is how it concluded. Who is leading this insurrection? Who is leading this incitement? Who is causing Americans to have to live under terrorist threats again from the base, Al-Qaeda, the Republican base? Well, you should always start at the top, because when the fish stinks from the head, you know.
Look at the head, the leader, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell.
Minority.
I told you when he said that Trump provoked the insurrection and that rioters were fed lies, it wouldn't hold. And today we saw him be among the 45 saying the trial should be dismissed. There he is, him signing the oath book right before. McConnell kicked this trial to after the inauguration. And why? Do you remember?
Yes.
So it could get due consideration.
Right.
So it could get good due time and we wouldn't rush it.
To prepare.
Now he says it's too late and it was never legitimate. Remember what Mitch McConnell told us the last time.
I'm not an impartial juror. This is a political process.
This time he said he is impartial. He's got an open mind. And now he says there can't be a trial after he says that Trump provoked it and said he wanted to give time to the trial. It is all BS. And the Democrats want a power-sharing deal with this guy. When will you learn not to pet the snake?
Oh! Don't pet the snake. If Donald Trump was the snake, then Mitch McConnell is the spit on the belly of the snake. No, he finds disinformation useful. They have tried to figure out what to do. Do they get rid of the toxic influence of Donald Trump? Do they condemn the toxic influence of Trump? Mitch McConnell has decided to do both simultaneously. So he stands up and he says, oh no, Donald Trump is responsible. And then he votes no. Just like I told you he would. Just like I told you he would. He provoked it. He did this. He incited it. I'm a no. I'm a no. I think those were my exact words. Yep. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.